Well, this used to be one of my favorite like hacks to help somebody who's been lifting for a really long time. I'd give them a stopwatch or tell them to get a stopwatch and, hey, just do me a favor this next week when you train, just stopwatch yourself on your rest periods, come back, report to me what they are, and then I manipulate it.
Yeah.
And it would be like, because very few people watch the clock and actually manage their rest periods.
And you end up falling into a pattern.
That's right.
If you start to time it, you're like, oh, I rest the same similar time.
And which is why too, I don't just right away announce like, oh, you should rest this. It's because I've learned over time that depending on who you identify with, what type of way of training you fall into. You might be the short rest period guy, or you might be the power.
We usually guess, by the way.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
visible.
I could normally look at someone and get a pretty guess, but I want to know like some facts, right? So I'll have them do that, and then I just put them in the total opposite. And so if you lean more towards the powerlifter 3 to 5 minute guy, I'll also give you 45-second minute rest. Holy shit, it's like a whole like you've never experienced before, and vice versa. If you're the circuit training mom who loves to just never stop, and she goes from exercise, and it's like a body pump class, and they go, hey, we are going to keep loading weight on this bar, and I want you to sit down for 3-5 minutes between sets. It's just like, what?
Yeah. No, so short rest periods, you get that crazy pump. You teach your body to get rid of waste, or your muscles, I should say, to get rid of waste faster. You build strength endurance. Anecdotally, you're probably building more capillaries, you're building more sarcoplasm, or your capacity for sarcoplasm. These are all the non-muscle fiber structures that are in muscle, which actually make up most of your muscle size. When you look at a muscle, something like, 70% of it is non-muscle fiber. So if you drained it of all its fluid and sarcoplasm and blood, it would lose, 70% of its size, and you'd be left with this like jerky, like beef jerky. You dry a piece of steak and it shrinks down, right? So that's sarcoplasm that makes up the size and shape. Anecdotally, you're probably building more of that with shorter rest periods, especially when you combine it with higher reps. However, I do want to add this, and we don't need to go too long on this because this could be an episode itself. You can also combine short rest periods with heavy weights, and it's a completely different adaptation. You could do singles. Now, of course, you have to adjust the weight on this, but I could do a single of deadlifts and rest 45 seconds and do 45-second rests. Now, of course, I can go as heavy as when I rest a long period of time.
Yeah.
But it also is different. And the reason why I'm saying this, and again, we don't need to get stuck on this, but the reason why I'm saying this is all of these variables, they don't have to be in unison. It's not like short rest periods always goes with high reps.
There's certain things that lend themselves well for teaching, and then once you've taught it, then there's combinations that
they seem like they're opposite.
That speaks to the novelty point that you made.
You can find some hybrids in between a bit.
I mean, I think of this like Justin will appreciate the sports analogy, like you're teaching somebody all these combinations of moves in like a sport like basketball, like you first want to teach the fundamentals, and then you teach like a move, and you get really good at it, you adapt it, and then you can start playing with them together and in different sequences and combinations to create this orchestra of great movements and skill. Like same thing goes inside the gym. It's like when we speak, most of the time we're speaking about the fundamentals and the importance of getting really good at all these different adaptations and focuses and what tend to lend themselves well for people that are trying to get really good at understanding all this. But once you've done this for a long time, like, man, then it becomes, the first rule is break all the rules.
It's fun.
You know what I'm saying? Is to now interchange and break the stigma around, oh, you should only rest this long when you train this way, train the opposite and see what happens.
No,